Stopped. Recording is in progress.
Hello, everybody. You just heard Kiss Me on the Bus, the Ed Stasium mix. And Ed's got a really cool story to tell you about the band Skull Snaps, the song It's a New Day. And then we're going to start talking a little bit about his experience in his garage rock bands. So, Ed, welcome back from break. And let's hear your story about It's a New Day.
Okay, well, the Skull Snaps were a trio um, of black guys, black kids out of Newark, New Jersey, funky as hell, great players, cool guys. It was my first experience really engineering on my own and mixing the record. There was a guy named George Kerr producing, but as some producers do, they're not there a lot. So I basically made that record with the band. And there was one song called "It's a New Day," which has the intro to it is a drum beat, boom boom bum, boom boom bum, boom 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 bum, boom boom bum. That 6 second piece has been sampled over 600 times by rap artists and hip hop artists since the 1990s. It's a famous track, and the actual album goes for crazy expensive, close to $1,000 for a mint condition original copy of that thing. Yeah, on Discogs. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So that's one cool thing about it. The other coolest thing, and I'll try to make this short because it's a long story. Um, I met Vernon Reid from Living Color when I was doing the Mick Jagger record, Mick Jagger Primitive Cool solo record, and we were working. That's a crazy long story. We won't even get into how I got there and ended up at Eddie Grant's studio in Barbados for like 2 months. When I was supposed to go for 2 weeks, Jerry Hall got busted for weed and had to stay on trial. So that's a long story. No details about that though. Anyway, so we ended up down there for 2 months, and we came back to New York. I ended up working on the project with three different producers: Dave Stewart from the Eurythmics, Keith Diamond, the late great Keith Diamond, New York producer, and Mick also produced some tracks. And recorded all over the world, literally. New York, it was recorded in New York, it was recorded in Hilversum, Holland, it was recorded in London. And there were different tone reels. It was crazy. I had to organize the whole thing. And I ended up, going back to New York and working at Right Track Studios, which was my home base at the time, from like 84 till 90 something in New York. 90, when I was living in New York, and based my work out of Right Track in New York. Met my buddy Vernon, who had the band Living Color. Mick and Jeff Beck went to CBGB to see them play, and Mick says, "I love this band. I'm going to do demos with them." So when I was mixing in Studio A, the mix record, he and Ron St. Germain, my good buddy, producer, engineer guy, did 2 demos with Living Color in Studio B at Right Track. So we became friends, going back and forth, blah, 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 hanging out, drinking coffee, whatever we would do, have meals together, hanging out. And okay, cool. I finished the record, they finished the demos. And then months later, I bump into Vernon on the street. It was 48th, Right Track was located on 48th Street in Manhattan, between Broadway and 6th Avenue, which was that music where all the music stores are there, like Manny's, Sam Ash, We Buy Guitars, all those great music stores, which no longer exist. They're not there because of Progress. Yes, Progress. I mean, there's, huge tower. Yeah. Yeah, Progress. Yes. I wonder if in the sidewalk in front of Manny's, it said Manny's in the sidewalk. I wonder if that's still there. I hope they kept that at least. Anyway, I come out of Right Track and I bump right into Vernon. He's there. "Hey, we got a record deal." "Really?" "Oh yeah, Epic Records signed us. This guy Mike Kaplan signed us over there, and we're talking to producers, and they're talking like A-list guys: Tom Werman, Phil Ramone, the cat who did Steely Dan records. I forgot his name. Anyway, they were talking to some A-list people, and he said, and your name came up. I'm there. Oh, and at that time, I'd been working steadily, but the only record I really produced was a couple Ramones records at that time, and some other records that you've never heard of, that I've never heard of probably at this point. But we got along, and I said, "Oh, cool. So why don't you?" I was living on 78th Street uptown and on the Upper West Side, and I said, "Vernon, why don't you come by? I'll cook up some fish on the grill. The grill, yeah, okay. New York. I have a balcony, a 4x4 balcony on my second floor walkthrough with a hibachi on it. But I used it. I'm a grilling kind of guy, and I'll grill up some fish. Vernon's a pescatarian, and we'll meet up, and we'll talk, we'll chat. Okay, so that the day before that, this is when we're talking. What was it? 86. And there was a Tower Records down the street where there were record stores. Remember those?
Yeah.
Stores? Yeah.
They were nice.
Yeah. I lived in those places. Anyway, there's a Tower Records. And at that point, I was kind of replenishing my vinyl collection. I kept my vinyl collection, but I didn't get rid of it, thank goodness. And there were a couple moments where I said, do I really need all these? And yes, I do. And I would go to Tower and I would just pick up the CDs that they were reissuing, which some of those early CDs early on didn't sound very good. They were like made from third generation safety EQ copies and stuff. They were like, I remember getting a Bird CD and I was like, what happened to this?
Yeah.
And I AB the record. I think it was Fifth Dimension. The Birds, I think their third album. David Crosby was still in the band. And I remember listening to it because I love that record. And A-B'd it with I was able to A-B it with a CD and with vinyl, and it was like, well, what happened to this? Anyway, that's a whole other story. I got lots of stories.
Yeah, these are great. Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm buying CDs. Oh, and this is crazy too, that day. So I'm looking through the CDs and I get a tap on my shoulder and I turn around. It's freaking Lauren Bacall. She lived in the Dakota, which was right down the street. I think she didn't know who I was. No,
Oh, okay.
She thought I worked there.
Oh,
She thought because she tapped me on the shoulder and she's like, "Can you help me? Where's the jazz section? I just got a CD player and I want to get some Frank Sinatra and some Count Basie." And I'm there. Oh, I'll help you. So I spent some time with her. Maybe a half hour, 45 minutes, just picking. I had and that's when they had the long boxes. So it just had probably like 30 CDs. And I walked her to the front and dropped them on the counter. And she said, "Thank you, young man. You've been very kind." It was great. And I never even acknowledged that I knew that it was, Lauren Bacall. I didn't say, "Oh, Lauren Bacall, hi there. Hey, what's going on? Can I have your autograph?" No, I just went along with the whole thing. It was great. Okay, so I leave. And there's a little park that the homeless hung out at, right by Tower Records there. I think it was on 66th Street in Amsterdam, somewhere around there. It's where Amsterdam and Broadway meet. And there was a gentleman, a black gentleman, sitting on the sidewalk selling his stuff. He was, you find that all over the place. It's a Manhattan garage sale. It's just selling your stuff. I mean, I've had garage sales for goodness sake, I'm down with the garage sales. I have found so many great things at garage sales I can't even tell you. But that's a whole other story. I got lots of stories. I'm not going to go there.
well, then nobody else will have usually what you find at a garage sale, which is so cool.
Oh, I've found some amazing stuff at garage sales. I found a 1937 RCA PB90 ribbon microphone for $5 at a garage sale.
What?
Back in the 80s, I swear. Yeah.
I love a ribbon mic and that's the kind that you can really just sit there and play with your guitar. And
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's like one of those Bing Crosby microphones. It's huge.
So cool.
It's not in this room. It's in my storage room, my mic locker. Anyway, so he has clothes, he has toys, and there were records. And I always look through records. So I walk by the guy, I go to garage sale, records, look through them. So I'm going through the records, and what do I find? But the Skull Snaps album, okay? I never had the Skull Snaps album. I never got a copy of it. And This is like 1987, and I recorded that in 1973. I had a copy of the single that one beat is on, that It's a New Day song. It's, the 7-inch 45.
Yeah.
But I never had the album. So I got the album. I bought it. He wanted $1 for it. I didn't have any change. I gave him 20. I said, "Keep it. Don't worry about it. This is, I want this. I'm taking it home." Took it home. Told the story to my then wife Francine, who was also managing me at the time, and Cool. Next day, Vernon comes by. We're chatting in the living room about stuff. I was getting ready to make dinner. And I said, oh, wait, I got to tell you this story about this record that I found yesterday that, I did in 1973. And I'd never had a copy of it. I go to my pile of records in front of the stack and I pick it up and he looks at it and goes, the Skull Snaps? You did the Skull Snaps? I learned how to play guitar listening to that record. I'm there, what? And it bonded us immediately. I think that's how it clinched the deal for me producing the Living Color record, honestly. It was crazy. Just whatever it's called.
Synchronicity.
Synchronicity. That's what it's called. Thank you.
Well, and so anyway, we're going to keep talking about, I just love all these stories. We're going to have to extend the show or something, but we're going to take everybody out to break with the song by Gladys Knight and the Pips, which you recorded and engineered. And that's Midnight Train to Georgia. I mean, come on. And then we're going to bring you back in with Talking Heads Psycho Killer, and also recording and engineering.
Yeah, I recorded, engineered, and mixed both
Great.
of those songs.
Awesome.
And with Talking Heads, there's a little bit of production involved, but I didn't get any credit.
Well, here's your chance. The Arwen Lewis Show. All right, everybody, you're listening to Ed Stasium, and we're hearing all of the legendary tracks that he's recorded, mixed, and engineered, and hearing all these great stories about his life and career. Find out more about Ed at edstasium.com and look him up on Facebook under Ed Stasium. We'll be right back. Cool. Oh, and we play